Hi, we're Roy and Karen, and this video is about our RV bucket list trip exploring Canada, part 1.
Now we're back home in the villages, just in case you can't tell. We still have 3 more videos to make about this adventure. 2 of them are about Canada. One of those is this one. And then another one will be about our final week traveling down the East Coast during the 4th of July week.
What a week.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. When we were planning this trip, the most northern place we were going to visit on the East Coast was going to be Maine.
Which had captured my interest many moons ago when doing the family tree and seeing that there were some connections there. Always wanted to go. Now we've been.
And as we were using the planning software, just Karen happened to look up there and she said,
It's just a few more hours and we're in the Bay of Fundy.
So we added it to the trip. We did a lot of homework in regards to border crossings. Not only crossing into Canada, but also crossing back into the United States.
In an RV with 2 dogs.
And again, we did a lot of homework, so we were pretty knowledgeable. We read both websites. We filled out paperwork to bring the dogs back into the United States. They didn't care about the dogs coming into Canada. They didn't even care to see rabies shots or anything. But we had paperwork to fill out, and we did it ahead of time to bring the dogs back in the United States. The thing that we learned that seemed to be the most important thing that everybody on YouTube videos was talking about was, number 1, have one person do the talking, and whoever that person is, make sure they know every single stop of your itinerary. And it turned out to be...
He asked you about every single stop on our itinerary, and you knew it. Good job.
As soon as we got into Canada, the first thing you notice is it's kilometers per hour. And, you know, I don't know if you ever noticed it, but on your speedometer on your car, there's those little numbers down there, and those are the kilometers. It's just a pain in the butt. And what I noticed was that the app we were using, the RV Trip Wizard app, there'll be a link down in the description, automatically converted all the kilometer per hours to miles per hour for me. So
very helpful.
So if it was 50 kilometers, it said it was
31 miles
31 miles per hour.
Just like in Trenton, Tennessee, Charlie.
We have a friend who lives in a town where why they have a sense of humor, made the speed limit in the town 31. Okay. I did check Apple, I did check Google, and none of them did it. At least there were no settings that I could find where they would do that.
Easy conversions.
So it just did it automatically. The other thing about crossing into Canada that we had to know about was which foods we could bring. And we were up on it. So when the guy asked me about it, I knew we had no meat on board. The website said no meat, no fresh, no frozen, and no cooked.
Leftovers.
Yeah, if you had any leftovers, you couldn't bring it. So we spent the next week in Maine making sure we ate everything we had that we couldn't bring. Oh, I let it all go in Canada. I made sure that anything we couldn't bring, we ate. And that's the same went for the fresh produce. So the last couple hours before we got there, I finished off the apples.
All 3 or 4 of them.
Also knowing that we were going to be coming into Canada with no meat or fresh veggies, our first stop was going to be Walmart so we could re-provision. Well, that was an interesting stop at Walmart. Remember, the Canadian border says no meat, no produce, can't bring any of that stuff in. So we go to Walmart, it's our first stop. They got no meat. They got no produce. What the hell? And we're looking through the store and we're getting all the pantry stuff that we need and everything. But for the life of us, we could not find any meat or any produce.
So we asked someone, he's like, yeah, not this Walmart, that's the super Walmart across town. It's like, okay.
So that's on me. There is a difference between a Walmart and a Walmart supercenter, especially when you're looking for food. I thought it had to do with other stuff. I figured they would all have the food. But I've learned my lesson. I'll be more diligent on our next trip. But we're only going to be in here. We're only going to be in Canada for 3 days.
2 days.
So we'll just deal. You went to the frozen food section and got something for us.
P.F. Chang's beef broccoli.
So, and then we ate out, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, we're good at finding Plan B.
Plan Bs can be better than the original plan. We were already on the road when we were watching somebody's video, and they were doing whitewater rafting on the Boar Tide in Nova Scotia, which is like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours from where we're going to be. It's like, I want to do this.
You guys sit down.
I want to do that. So we just changed everything up. We canceled one of the nights at the Fundy Canada National Park, the provincial park. Right. And we canceled the Harvest Host stay that we were going to do in Moncton. We were going to watch the Boar Tide, which we'll show you later. You'll get it. One of the other things that we were going to do, we had to cancel, was we were going to boondock one night in New Brunswick. We had watched some people who had actually boondocked by a lighthouse and also by the sea caves. And we said, that looks like fun. Mm-hmm. Let's do that. And we decided we can't because we have to get back into the country a certain time too to meet up with all the rest of our schedule. But I also mentioned this because the minute we're done with the Walmart, we're beelining it to the coast. We want to get to the coast. That's what it's all about for us. Especially the Bay of Fundy. It's all about the tide. And the first place we come to, and it really caught us off guard, as I recall, was Quaco
Lighthouse.
Yeah. So we were thinking we might boondock here one night at this beautiful spot overlooking the Bay of Fundy. And now we've changed our minds in the meantime, but let me show you why we were thinking of hanging here. Look at that. Look at this view. I don't know if you can see it, but the tide is coming in right now. Now, again, people had talked about boondocking here. When we got there, there was a big old sign that said, no overnight.
Don't overnight here. I mean, we drove through a residential area.
Yeah.
They were large parcels they were on, but it was a residential area, and I could see how they may not want people hanging out.
So we probably would not have boondocked there anyway and just moved on.
But what a beautiful setting. Oh my gosh.
No wonder they wanted to boondock here. It was
spectacular.
Amazing.
And we had such wonderful weather, and there was just us and someone else that pulled up at the same time who was having an adventure trip like us on a limited version of it. So both just enjoying these paths and looking out over the seashore and watching.
And the tide. And I think we thought the tide was going out, but actually, I think it may have been coming in. I don't even remember anymore. All I know is you look at that, this water is rushing.
It's like churning.
But it was such a cool spot. And I could have just parked there, put the chairs out. Let's camp out here, honey.
We never leave time for that, though.
We do not. Well, I think we'll talk about that later, too. Okay, here's the tide information. It's currently 3:40 p.m. and high tide was at 12:35. Low tide will be at
6:47.
6:47. So that we were just looking at, that was the tide going out. Okay, tomorrow, the low tide will be at 7:22 in the morning, and we'll be right by Hopewell Rocks, 5 minutes away. So we'll go out there, and then high tide will be at 13:27. That's 1:30. So 7:30 and 1:30 tomorrow. We'll get to see the low tide at Hopewell Rocks and the high tide at Hopewell Rocks. Yay! Just down the road from Quaco was St. Martin's. And this was the second place that we thought we might boondock. And of course, there's a sign in their parking lot that says,
no overnight parking.
No overnight parking. And if you're not a patron, don't park here either.
Yeah.
But they were not enforcing that. They're right there at the Sea Caves. And this is the only place you could park.
Or up on the street and then walk over.
Well, that didn't look so good.
Yeah.
Not for an RV anyway. But the Sea Cave. Another one of those things that unless you are experiencing it firsthand.
Mm-hmm. And watching other people's videos at least gave us the wish to get there.
Right.
Once you're there, it's like, oh yeah.
You sure you want to do this?
Do what?
You sure you want to do this?
Of course I'm sure.
What is it?
We're gonna walk out and go look at the caves
That you
St.
can
Martin's
only see?
at low tide.
And it's low, pretty low out there right now.
Yeah. Might have to wait a little bit.
Don't get stuck in the mud. Okay, let's go. Walking on all those rocks and on the mud, and we're walking through the water, and the water feels great. We thought the water up there in Nova Scotia would be cold. It wasn't. It was really nice.
Refreshing.
We enjoyed just walking up there and seeing them in person. These are not little caves. These are big caves. But we'd also heard really good things about the restaurant. And, all right, so I gotta bring this up. When you're in Canada, the other thing is that everything appears to be a lot more expensive. Remember, the Canada dollar, it's not the US dollar. So I'm looking at something that should cost $15 and it's $20, and I'm like,
Do I want it that bad?
Not keeping in mind that we're going to get a 25% discount when it hits our bank. And actually, the meal we had there, I was like, boy, this is overpriced. And then when I got the bill later at our bank, and I was looking at our statement, I was like,
Oh, that wasn't so
wow,
bad.
that was cheap. Wow. It only took us 7 weeks to get here.
Okay. Took me 2.5 minutes. I'm glad you're here.
We're glad to be here too, and we just worked up a little bit of an appetite doing the caves.
Okay.
We never had poutine.
Okay. French fries covered in cheese, curds covered in gravy.
Oh, it sounds awful. We'll have to have one.
Yes.
Awfully amazing.
Yeah. Awfully addicting.
Okay. Now the other thing I haven't had, I've only heard tell of it, was this thing called a Caesar.
Oh.
The Canadian version of a Bloody Mary.
As in right. So
Is that something you
I
have?
have them in a can.
That's what I want.
Okay, great.
Is it alcoholic?
Yes, I have them. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's exactly what I want.
Yes. That's funny because
Now
we
it
just
can
did
kill-
those for the,
I know
for the
it-
buses.
Yeah.
Were you here that day when we did
We
the
were the
little...
little mini ones, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be terrible, right?
I have no idea.
I'll share some with you.
I'm not. No.
I'll open it and I'll. Can you
I'm
take-
not a drinker. I tried that apple.
Yeah, but a sip isn't a drink. A sip
No,
is
I know,
just a
but-
sip.
If you ask my opinion,
We're going to have some fun.
And that's everything?
Yep. Wait a second. You said you have to pop
I
this
do.
can for me?
Yes, I do. When you purchase it here, yes, I do.
That's the law in Canada.
New Brunswick for sure.
Okay. How about right here in the shade? But this was our opportunity. This was our first place where we're going to sit and eat in Canada. And there were two things that we'd never had before. One was
Poutine.
poutine. The second thing is they have a thing in Canada in a can called a Caesar. Okay, so we got two things. We got poutine and we got what's called a Caesar, which is the Canadian version of Bloody Mary. And it's already got alcohol in the can. Oh, let me turn that around. Already has alcohol in the can and it's made with clamato juice. Oh, I wonder if I was supposed to shake that. Give me a second. Does that look really... No, I think... Nope, I think that's the way it looks. I'm really not sure on this anymore. Here we go. Delicious, delicious. Don't let the color fool you. Don't let the thinness of it fool you. Delicious. In the can, it didn't taste much different than, I mean, I expected something Canadian about it, eh? But it was just a weird color of tomato and a very bland tasting Bloody Mary. But it was an experience, and I'm all for the experience.
I could pass on that experience. Don't like tomato juice and I don't like clams. We cleaned out our fridge and this is going to be dinner. We got to try some poutine, which we've never had. I think this looks like fork.
What is that?
French fries and cheese curds and gravy. Mm-mm. I might need to try a couple more to decide.
Okay. We knew we wanted to take the scenic route along the coast to all along the Bay of Fundy to the Fundy Canadian National Park. And we didn't know that scenic drive was also part of the national park, and there was an entrance fee. I think it was $25 Canadian, came out to $18 American. Big deal.
Right.
There were all these pull-offs so you could see the coast easy. We saw the coast all the way through. There was at one time, I'm showing them right now with those hairpin turns, and you could see the ocean as we go by. It was so beautiful.
And the Fuller waterfall.
And we got a bonus waterfall. Yay.
Briefly went to visit because it was very buggy.
Yeah, very buggy. But you remember that time where Karen said, it's only going to be 4 hours until, let's just drive the extra 4 hours to Fundy.
That'd be if we were like down the highway.
8 hours at least later, we're at the campground. But it was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was a great drive. I'm glad we did it. And what's the hurry to get back to the campground
We're there
to sit in the
explore.
campground?
We
Right.
want to see the area. We want to explore, and we did.
That night, something popped up on Facebook or something, and you said the word aurora, and it dawned on me that this was the highest we'd been anywhere in the country on this trip so far. I wonder what the chances of seeing an aurora borealis would be, and I have an app for that.
That would be very cool.
And it said we got a 24% chance. Well, that's not zero. That's 24%. I'm going for it.
That's almost a guarantee.
So we got the GoPro out. We put it in time lapse, and I got this video. It isn't very exciting. We did not see the aurora, but hey, we did it for you.
We hope we get credit for trying.
First thing in the morning, we gotta be rolling because the plan. Remember, we had to cancel. We had 3 nights planned. Now we only have 2 nights planned. So tomorrow morning, the plan is to see the tide 3 different ways. And you're wondering, there's low tide, there's high tide. Well, what's the third way? That's the
Or tide.
We'll get there. But the low... Okay, so let's tell you about why the Bay of Fundy has the highest tide in the world. It can be as much as 50 feet from low tide to high tide. It's like a funnel, and it just pushes the water in, and it just rises more than anywhere else. It's just the geography of the thing. 7:30 in the morning is low tide. The park opens at 8. We're there at
Quarter till.
and we wait, get in line. And I would say, if you want to check out the low tide in the Bay of Fundy, Hopewell Rocks is the place to do it. Good morning.
Morning.
Oh,
Or 2?
yeah.
2 singers?
Right.
Yeah, 2 seniors, 2 old folks. We were going to fly our drone, but we saw the sign said no drones.
Yeah,
very
not
clear.
here. We have peregrine falcons on site, and they will attack the drone. So,
Oh,
where are you visiting from?
Florida?
All right.
The geographical features there were incredible, showing the erosion from the tide coming in repeatedly, a very forceful tide going in and out. Oh my gosh, just what it had done to the rocks, and to be able to go down these levels of steps to realize just how far down you had to go to be able to get to.
And they told us, by the way, that some of those steps we took to get down would not be accessible at high tide.
Well, a couple levels are going to be, because you can't get to them.
This was also our first experience with Fundy mud. And as we're walking in some, realizing how absolutely slippery and treacherous this stuff is. You didn't want to fall, because if you did fall and put your hand, you would just go through it up to your elbow. This you got to be careful. So we were always making sure we didn't walk on bare mud. We always walked on the rocks.
Shells and the rocks, because we're walking on the seafloor.
Yeah, this stuff was nuts. And I don't want to say too much more about it, because we're going to have a really muddy experience later. I don't want to ruin it.
We got to go walk out there and see the water as it's still going out. And
Yes.
Now wait a minute. What did you say the tide was going to be today?
So today's a 42-foot tide, or 12.7 meters, and that's about the average 4-hour full moons or new moons. The tide itself progresses in a non-linear speed, so the first 2 hours it's picking up speed. The middle 2 it's at its fastest rate, and then the last 2 it slows down.
I got a question for you.
Absolutely.
If I was standing right there at that little flat pancake rock
Yep.
over there, and the water had just touched it, how long before it gets to where we're standing?
So on the fastest tides, which it would be going to if you were standing at that rock, we lose a horizontal foot of beach every single minute.
wow.
So from where that rock is to here, you're looking at 12 minutes.
Cool.
Yeah,
We got a plan for today.
fantastic.
Thank you,
Very
buddy.
welcome.
Thank you,
Have a
Matt.
great day and enjoy the tidal bore.
Thank you.
That's Hopewell Rocks at low tide. We're gonna come back later, but right now we're gonna head to Moncton and go watch the boar tide, the tide that comes over the top of the river. That'll be our precursor to us actually rafting on it tomorrow when we go to Nova Scotia.
If that doesn't scare us off.
We'll find out.
Now it's time to hit the second of the 3 tides. And that's not high tide, it's boar tide. And we're going to this town of Moncton. They have a river that runs through the town. And this town's actually famous for this. The tide is so strong and it runs along the top of the river. That's what a boar tide is. And it's such a tall tide over the top of the river that sometimes you'll get surfers that'll surf in on the tide.
There was an American surfer that did this.
We got there in time to see the boar tide come through. We actually set up 3 different cameras, so I didn't want to
Gonna
miss this.
it no matter what. And get to talking, because we weren't the only ones out there trying to experience this. And we met a local who'd never seen it, and he hung out with us for a while so that he could see it. It was a lot of fun.
Really nice guy. But we needed to run back to Hopewell Rocks to catch the high tide. Things happen really fast. This tide is so fast moving, which is amazing that we were in such a hurry and we made every light. When we got the RV out and we were going over this bridge, we watched the boar tide coming again before it even reached the bridge.
Right.
It was so amazing.
So that was on our journey back to Hopewell Rocks now to see what it looks like at high tide.
But the one thing I want to say is I was kind of conflicted because the ranger at Hopewell Rocks during low tide had told us that if we were to get there at 11:30, we could actually watch high tide coming in, which is fantastic because it's inches per minute. I mean, it's like you turn your back and it could be smacking you in the back of the head. It comes in really fast and it's supposed to be awesome. But we couldn't do both. It was either boar tide or watch the tide come in at Hopewell Rocks. I'm trying to get back to Hopewell as fast as I can. And when we get back there, I mean, it is high tide.
There's nothing coming in.
It's just high
going a little
tide.
bit higher up the wall,
And we knew that you could rent canoes that would give you a canoe tour, not a canoe,
Kayaks.
a kayak. And they were out there in force doing it.
Yeah.
And I had wished we were some of those people. But again, if we had done that, we would have missed the other. With only one day, you gotta choose. What are we gonna do?
Yeah. And we did good, I think.
I
we
think
got
we
to
did
experience both.
We got all
Visually.
We got all three tides.
Yeah, those folks that are paddling around in their canoes are 30 feet above where our heads were
Yeah,
when we were standing there having our
absolutely.
photo taken.
We did not know when we started this video that we would be talking to you for so long. We thought we were going to show you the sleepy little fishing town of Alma, where when the tide goes out, the boats are sitting in the mud, and we thought we were going to show you the whitewater rafting in Nova Scotia.
Would have been an hour plus long video. That's a little too
But
much.
I guess you're just going to have to wait till next week, and we'll put it right over there like we usually do. In the meantime,
We appreciate you traveling with us.
see ya.